Warning. The following program contains explicit content, outrageous opinions, and untrained professionals. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft with your hosts, Berzerker and Navox. This is Unshackled Fury.
We've got a date with destiny. The Scourge is on its way again, and we're celebrating 16 years of our beloved online home. Welcome to episode 79 of the Unshackled Fury podcast, your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. I'm your host, Berzerker, and with me, as always, is the Black Knight to my Bronze Jam. He is Navox. Welcome back again, sir.
Man, what a week. What a week. Let's just talk about that for a second.
It's
got a lot of Warcraft stuff going on.
Yeah. Yes. It's the only thing that's been on my mind or on my screen
exactly.
All week, last 2 weeks.
That's right.
That's it. That's it. So, yeah, we obviously here in the States, it's been a very busy week as we record this here on Sunday, the 8th of November, 2020. So I'll just say this at the front. This show may be a little bit shorter than usual. I don't know, because to be quite frank, there's a lot going on. So hopefully we've got enough to keep you folks going this week. But yes, obviously, lots of stuff going on that has nothing to do with Warcraft. But you know what? There's a little respite for it right here. This is going to be all Warcraft all the time today, and
that's right.
So you don't have to worry about any kind of real world stuff for the most part infiltrating on this one. This is a safe space for your Warcraft needs right now. This is it. So on that note, Mr. Navox, how have you been since last we were here, and what have you been doing in game?
So to be quite honest, I've been, while Lisa and I continue to level our characters up in WoW, when we're not doing that, I find that I'm getting bored. I'm just gonna talk candidly with everybody. Yeah, I'm just, I get bored in game. So what I've been doing is I've been running through and doing old transmog runs. I've been looking to see what swords or shields or things that I need, and like I ran through Old War yesterday. It was really fun. I'm probably going to do it again on my other couple play tunes, because I got real fortunate. I was real fortunate when I ran through, because I went in there to tackle all of the normal looking swords, and I got all of them except one, and I was like, wow, why didn't that one drop for me? It's off Freya. It's just I don't know, but I got 5 other tunes I'm going to take through and try to do that.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah, and I leveled. I didn't level. I made a Horde Tauren to try to level up, because I wanted to get the heirloom gear on the Tauren, just because it's something in game that I don't have. So I thought I'd unlock it. It's not like I'm going to spend. I play Alliance, and I cannot get into playing the Horde. I say that on the show all the time. I just can't get into playing the Horde. I think it's, when you're playing the Alliance, I'm just going to flat out, everything looks nicer. The ships look better. The cities look better. Everything's, clean. I don't know.
You appreciate the more polished and engineered look, shall we say.
Exactly. So that's why I went with Tauren, because at least with Tauren, I can handle. I love Thunder Bluff. That's a great city, and it reminds me of a treehouse, and I love it, and I can go out there and, pretend I'm a kid in a treehouse.
There you go.
It's great. It's like the Wilderness Lodge or something you'd see with the Native American themes there. Other than that, all I've been doing is I found myself in this loop of going to the character select screen, creating a character, and then opening up the snipping tool and just copying what the character looks like into OneNote, going, someday I'll make a character and it's going to look like that. And all I've been doing is playing dress up in the freaking character select screen. It's like,
wow.
I mean, it's been,
Well, there's an
hardcore
interesting
character creation. It's like,
you're playing Dolly Dress Up.
Exactly.
All
That's
right.
exactly.
Well, you know
it.
what? That's a mini game in its own right.
I downloaded another thing I did because I was terribly bored. I was like, let me check out some of these other things. So I downloaded All the Things, which is an add-on that a lot of people use to collect all the things and do all of the quests and achievements and whatever you can do in Warcraft. It's in that thing. It's literally all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I got overwhelmed with it even after looking at a Hazelnutty video that she put out how to configure this so it doesn't overwhelm you. I'm like, I'm still overwhelmed. I can't do this. I don't want to deal with it. So I shut it off, uninstalled it. And then I installed TSM and went down that rabbit hole. And so I've been auctioning off pets. So it's just all this tedious, I'm not saving the world. I'm just playing with the auction house, playing dress up, and trying to find. I'm still playing dress up, going around doing transmogs. So that's been what I've been doing in games. So a lot less hero. Let's back off the hero thing a little bit there, for the time being. Let's, until I start doing heroic stuff again.
Yeah.
But
listen, you can't do heroic stuff all the time. Sometimes you got to do the real, mundane stuff, like take out the trash and do the dishes and pay the bills.
Work on the taxes.
Yeah. Someone's got to keep the Stormwind keep, updated and, fill in the cracks and the potholes. And that's the stuff they don't tell you when they call you champion and all of your great adventuring is there's still some rather mundane, menial stuff you got to take care of.
Oh my God, you just unlocked the best option that they could possibly put in the game. At the end of every expansion, they should wreck the city somehow and give us tedious tasks that we're just in the city fixing the shit up. I would do that, no problem.
Well,
you want me to patch up holes? I can do that. That's.
They had you cleaning up stink bombs until last week, so
that's it. We were.
People will do anything for a daily.
That. She took off. She was just like, "What's this Hollows End stuff? I'm gonna go grab this thing. Where are you?" She's like, "I'm cleaning up stink bombs." I'm like, "Okay." She's
well, that's the beauty of our game is you could literally have a quest where you're cleaning up dog shit every day in the park. And people would do it, and they would fight over the spawns, the poop spawns. Like that's who we are. It's great. I'm glad we don't have to do that, now. But listen, it could happen.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I remember the first time I ever went into Hellfire Peninsula, and there we are in Honor Hold or whatever, and we have to go around sifting through poop, and I'm like, what the hell game is this?
There's
and that was not the last time.
Poop fetish.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of weird. But how about you? What have you been up to?
Like you, I have also been playing little Dolly Dress Up. So I've said before that I have been working on, what my Shadowlands transmog was going to be. And so one of the things that I, again, was very late in the game on trying to put together as far as a plate wearer goes is the heroic 25 ICC plate set. The red, It's the red gear. It comes kind of in three tinges, the yellow, the orange, and the red. And the red, it's so convoluted where you have to get two different types of tokens and you have to upgrade from the base version to the next version and then that version to the version above it.
And there's no boots. You have to do Violet Hold.
And that's it. That's the last thing that I needed was these boots. And I'm like, where the hell do these come from? Well, they come from the heroic version of Violet Hold in the Legion Dalaran, not the Wrath Dalaran, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. It come off of Shivermaw. So not only do you have to farm this dungeon, anyone who's done Violet Hold knows you don't get the same bosses all the time. So you have to get the luck of the draw and hope that the right boss pops up. And then 2, you have to hope that the boss drops the gear that you need. I actually didn't have to run it that many times. I think after about 5 or 6 days, I just parked there in front of it, ran in real quick,
good.
did the first 2 bosses. If it wasn't one of those 2, boom, I just hearthed right back out and waited till the next day. I got them fairly quickly. Spoiler alert for later in the show, those boots now drop off of a world boss that's coming during the pre-launch event starting this week. So,
oh, nice. Nice.
So if you're looking for them, you'll get another chance, apparently. I guess I could have looked, but anyway. Working on that. Also running transmog runs for the characters I've gotten up to 50. My Paladin and my DK. Those are both up. Still working on my Druid. I'm already halfway to 50, and I swear I've barely done anything. I think I have 7 hours played.
Barely done anything on the Druid. Frasley's going to like that pun.
I'm going super slow on this thing, and I'm already halfway there, and I've barely touched any actual questing. How Dez does this in under 4 hours, he's really something else.
I think it's 3 now. He did it like 3 hours, and I don't know how he does it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like 3.5 hours or something like that. And credit to Des Mephisto, because he is on it. And he's also getting his own item in game now. So congratulations, Des.
Fist.
Des Mephistos.
Yeah, those gloves.
He had a nice joke about it. Well, if you don't know me, you'll know me soon because you'll have your hands inside me or something like that. I was like, there you go. There you go. That's what we need. So that's honestly the bulk of what I've been doing is just getting ready. Because as I think most everyone knows by now, we have a release date for Shadowlands, which we're going to talk about. We have, just to let everyone know, there's no rage portion of the show this week. It's all good. This is all celebration this week. This is all good. Nothing getting our hackles up. So we're just happy to see this game finally getting to its next stage in its evolution and everything else that's coming. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So with my part on that wrapped up, why don't we go ahead and jump into our news? So I did want to start talking about the news, but I did have one slight mini raise that just popped into my mind. I still don't have my 3080. And trying to track one of these things down has become the hunt of a lifetime.
It's almost worth it, though, to go in with it on somebody else who just wants a PC. So you just order like a high-end PC, take the 3080 out, and sell the rest of the PC off.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
What is going? I have never seen anything in my life as bungled as this when it comes to a major product for consumers. I've never seen anything like it. It is unreal to me that I have to have 4 different tracking alert systems to beat me and my phone and like blow up all kinds of stuff just to try to get a hope of a chance of a prayer on securing one of these things for the literal half second that it might be of it. It's unbelievable.
You're waitlisted though, right? Aren't you on the wait list?
No, I'm not going EVGA. That's you.
Oh, see, you need to do that. You get on the wait list. They say, look, you have this much time to.
Well, the wait list is closed. They closed it a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Number one.
All
Number
right.
2, still trying to get that Asus, and they seem to be the ones that have the least amount of product on the market, which is just driving me absolutely crazy. So anyway, that's enough of that. Shadowlands, finally. Coming November 23rd. Hooray! Finally. After originally having this scheduled to come out last month in October, we were told there was going to be a delay. It ended up being about a month, which I think, as we had talked about, a month seemed to be about the minimum time that would have been needed to make it meaningful. When Frasley was on our show, not that long ago, they correctly predicted 11/23. So kudos to Fraz. Fraz, you got it right. I think I saw
Congrats.
somewhere that you didn't think that you had the date. Well, on this show, you did correctly predict that date, and we were both like, that's the week of Thanksgiving. That doesn't seem like a good time. Well, guess what? That's what they did. So that's what we're getting. World of Warcraft Shadowlands coming out Monday, the 23rd of November. There is obviously a post from Blizzard on their website about this, and one of the things that they have done and continue to do, which is very helpful, is a map of the global release times, because depending on where you are in the world, it's either Monday or Tuesday technically. So like for me, it's going to release at 3 p.m. West Coast time in the U.S. on the 23rd. For you, that's 6 p.m. East. Let's say if you are in Australia, that's going to be 10 a.m. on the 24th. So, depending on where you are, it does make a difference. So do take a look at one of those maps or check out an article that has those times written down, just so you know, just to make sure that jives with whatever your plans are. But for us, Nav, as we've talked about, now that we have a date, what do we think about Shadowlands arriving the week of Thanksgiving? Was this a good call, a bad call, a necessary call that didn't have any other room? What's your take on this?
I think it was just a call made, and they decided to release it on its actual anniversary. Like, it's getting released on the same day that World of Warcraft was released originally.
That's right.
So, it'll be 16 years to the day, when that comes out. That's why they kind of gave us the anniversary stuff early on, so you can take advantage of it now, and they're going to take it away right when the game launches, so that you don't have that to ultra level fast, I guess, so I got the week off, and
nice.
And yeah, so I asked my boss, I was like, listen, I know I keep adjusting my schedule. He's like, yeah, no, it's no problem. You have the time off. You need to take it. I've bounced my schedule around now like 2 or 3 times, and he's finally like, yeah, that's fine. Take it off. I'm like, it's the week of Thanksgiving. We're all working from home anyway. It's not a big deal. I'm looking forward to, playing it that night. Over Thanksgiving, it's going to be a little bit tough because family stuff. I do have plans to go see my parents, and we're going to go have Thanksgiving dinner together. And then I'll come home and play some Shadowlands, and
hooray.
Yeah, hooray. And I still don't know. I don't know if I keep having these. I have to keep going out to Wowhead and seeing what guides have been updated and whatnot, because I don't know.
Oh boy.
I think I'm still leaning Kyrian, but I don't know if I'm gonna go Venthyr. But I can't really stand the Venthyr, the storyline. If they weren't so like, if they weren't so Venthyr, I think I don't know. It's just.
Well,
I don't like the whole idea of the whole. I'm not a vampire fan, folks. I'll take that. I like some vampire stuff. It's just I don't like that aesthetic in the game. So I don't know.
Then don't do it.
Yeah.
That. Take a stand with me.
I think I'm just gonna stick with Kyrian, because it'll go nicely with if I need to swap off to Prod or something like that, because I am sticking with the Warrior. Even though the sky's falling for the Warriors again, you go out there to Twitter, Warriors are just the worst class ever invented again. But you know how it is. Been here long enough.
Yep.
So
one of the things that I have been seeing more recently that I really do not like is these constant articles on Wowhead about which class is good or which class is bad or how all this stuff ranks up and yada yada yada. I don't think it's good. Like, I know that people do this stuff and that's how they play and they want to be the best and that's their way to play the game. But man, I have a real problem with, I don't know, the sensationalism that goes with which class is better than another. Like, I don't think that that's the right conversation to have. I think it's more of, what do we need to do to make sure that people feel fairly balanced, which is part of the pull the ripcord nonsense is, oh, well, this one's tracking way higher than the other. Okay, well, based on what data and how? then that's the
Right.
story. That's the story. The story isn't, oh, we should be Venthyr because we're warriors. You know what? I might not go just because you want me to do it. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah, I know. Go
I
against
don't know.
the, yeah.
I get that that's the game for some people, but man, it drives me crazy. And I really don't like it when the major fan site that drives a lot of this stuff is jumping on board that train. I really don't like that, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'm in the minority. That's fine. So like yourself, I had already actually planned on taking the week of Thanksgiving off. In fact, I'd planned on taking from the 19th off through Thanksgiving because we were supposed to get Cyberpunk on the 19th, and now that's been delayed until December,
Yeah.
mid-December. So I'm already planning on taking that time off. I'm going to take it. We are not going anywhere for Thanksgiving, so I have, pretty much all that time to play. My running buddy is not going to have that time off, but we're still going to play, from launch until probably late that first night, which will be good. And I'm actually, this side note, smoking my first Thanksgiving turkey this year.
Oh, good.
So I'm pretty excited
Nice.
about that. We'll see how that goes. So I think it's going to be tough for certain folks to be able to play as much as they want to play. I get that there's a challenge for the hardcore end folks that, they're looking at raid schedules, right? Where Castle Nathria opens December 8th. And so that puts a lot of pressure on them to get stuff going and this and that. I dare say, I can't speak for everyone, but I dare say that more people are going to be staying home than traveling. So I would think that you would have less holiday interruption than usual. That's not true across the board, but I would say there's a likelihood that there's less travel going on this year. We'll see.
Well, maybe that's Blizzard's plan all along. Maybe they're looking to help everybody out in the long run by putting the release there so that, because you usually have
travel.
big family gathering. Yeah, you have big family gatherings around the holidays, and Blizzard's
That's
like,
right.
hold up, I have an idea.
We'll
Let's
help you
get
out.
the one gamer in the house to stay home and just play nonstop.
We'll give you an incentive not to go anywhere.
There we
They're
go.
in an impossible position no matter what, because
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I think as we had talked about, depending on how many weeks you want to go by from the time of launch to when the raids start and how that schedule with the different tiers of the raids unfold, something's got to get pushed. If you want the expansion to come out this year, something's got to give. Either you did it the week of Thanksgiving, or you push it later, and then the raids get pushed out later. Something's got to give somewhere, and this is what they did. And so it comes out on their anniversary date. Great. Whatever. I mean, we're going to get it. People are going to love it. I'm very confident about this. I think that Shadowlands is going to be a very well-received expansion once it finally is in players' hands and is doing its thing, and we're a couple cycles deep. I think people are really going to like it, at least from what I've seen so far. Time will tell, obviously, but this is one of those things I feel like people are just going to forget. Like, remember when everybody was all mad about the portal rooms?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, where'd that anger go?
I don't give it another thought. There's no, it's...
Nobody
cool,
said
there.
shit
That's
about it in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just so many of these things that end up just going by the wayside. And I think this will be another one. This is kind of complaint. And in fact, for a lot of us, I think that already take time off, or we're gonna have that Friday off anyway, even if we didn't take any other time. That's a whole bunch of good new stuff you get to play right away. So
yeah, and I don't think for those that, because there are going to be people that aren't going to get to take that time off, and I'm sure they're sitting there going, man, I really wish. The raid's still December. It starts on December 8th. You still have plenty of time to level up, get the gear you want, get accustomed to your covenant and those things. It's after playing the game for so long, I don't have that. I don't know what the feeling is. It's just that impatient angst that I had it back in MoP where I had to rush through and get to the end.
Yeah,
I did it again in Battle for Azeroth and Legion of the same thing, and I'm just this time I'm going to level through and get it done. And I know that I'll be able to run the dungeons. I'll be able to get the mythic gear, and I'll be able to, playing casually. Honest to God, I'm more. I don't even do hardcore stuff anymore. It's just I'm a casual gamer that gets to raid mythic. So it's. So
I think you burn out way too quick like that, and that's just and
do.
there are people that are like that. It's feast or famine, where they do everything up front, and there's plenty of subscribers that are like this, that do everything up front. They bang all this stuff out, they level everything up, they get their reps done, they get the raids done, and then boom, I'm out. I've done everything I need to do in the first 3-4 weeks, and then I check out for the next 4 months, 3 months.
Yep.
There are people like that. Okay, that is one type of player. I don't know if that's a particularly healthy way to consume the game, so to speak, but there are folks like that, and those are typically the more cutting edge folks that are also the noisiest. But yeah, I think that, remember too, this is a global game. Not everybody has Thanksgiving that week, so it's not necessarily a problem for a lot of people.
That's true.
So we'll see. I think, again, it's not going to be as much trouble as certain quarters are trying to make it out to be. But I'm just glad that they feel that they got it in a comfortable place, and they took the time that they needed. As we've talked about, you've seen things getting different iterations. The conduit system, that could be a tricky spot because it sounds like it is getting a bit complicated, and there is some feedback about, well, depending on what we do and how these things match up, and with the influence of the legendaries, like how you're going to have to mix and match several things in order to get kind of the optimum play or the optimum setup. So that could get tricky, but again, it's up to Blizzard to balance that, in my opinion. I know, and we've talked about it, that they haven't always hit the sweet spot, but I'm always going to give them that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, everyone be ready. November 23rd. Shadowlands are coming. And how are we going to know in game that the Shadowlands are coming? Well, glad you've asked. Because this week, starting on November the 10th, our pre-launch event is kicking off. Nav, we got some skulls to bust.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Death Rising is going to be the name of this pre-expansion event, where, as we all recall, the Helm of Domination shattered by Sylvanas, and as we've been told many times, the Helm was necessary to control the Scourge. Without the Helm, there is no control of the Scourge, and now they are going to be running fucking wild.
Yes.
So for 2 weeks, we've got quests to do, and it's going to take us through our capital cities. We're going to end up in Ice Crown. We got some stuff to do.
The sky will change.
What's that?
The skybox is going to change.
The skybox
for everybody.
Is going to change. Whoa.
Yeah, that's where the shattering. It's at the login screen right now. So that'll be what you guys get to see in game. So.
Well, that's already in Ice Crown.
Oh, it is? I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was. Okay, I haven't been out there to look.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I need to go look. Cool.
It's crazy.
Okay. Hey, it's there already, guys.
Yeah, it's already in Ice Crown. If you haven't been to Ice Crown yet, it's already there. It came with the pre-patch.
I'll go check it out after we record. I'll go check it out.
And it moves, which is really cool because when you look up,
cool.
It's not stationary in the sense, in a couple of senses. Is one, it does shift perspective a little bit, so it's not like it's the same spot always right above you. It does actually move. Like you can kind of move closer to the edges of where things have exploded, and
nice.
You move far enough away. You're in Dalaran, you're in Storm Peaks, you don't see it anymore. But as long as you're in Ice Crown proper, you'll see it, and you'll see like the big chunks of like ice sky like floating up into the air and moving around, and it's fucking wild. So
that's cool.
So yeah, so if you head out there, you will see that. But for me, I have not done any of the pre-event stuff as far as this invasion goes on the beta, and we've talked about a little bit on this show about what it is. So can you just one more time, can you tell folks generally kind of what to expect when it comes to this Scourge invasion or anything else that you saw on this part of the beta?
Yeah, so you'll be standing around. Well, I think the way they have it set up is that it starts in Stormwind and Orgrimmar, and you'll just start having zombies spawn, and somebody will get infected, and then at that point you become a zombie, and then you've got options with your pet bar. A pet bar comes up. It's an action bar, and you'll run around, and you'll try to attack other players and infect other players. The thing that happens is once you get infected, you're a little hurt that you got infected, and then you're like, you know what? Screw this. I'm flying out of the city and I'm going to the next town, and it spreads and it spreads. So it spreads throughout the entire game. So at some point, it's going to envelop the entire world, so to say. Wherever there's people playing, there's gonna be these zombies. So it doesn't just stay stationary to Stormwind, because you go right out into the forest, and you're just as well able to get bitten out there anywhere. So it's very interesting to see it spread. So for those of you who like zombies, this is your event.
Well, and how timely, considering we still have a global pandemic going on. And it's
True.
Sort of a study in virology, I suppose.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
how things can spread. And it's funny because we've talked about how in Warcraft, we've been a microcosm of this before. There was the blood plague thing years ago, and we've seen these sort of... Yeah, they've studied it. And we've seen these sort of zombie invasions in the past where, it gets out of hand. And as time goes on, mind you, this will happen, and, you'll do certain things that will help push that back and cleanse things. And, there's all these storylines. Listen, if you want to go out on Wowhead and other places, Icy Veins, you can go see all of what this entails.
Right.
Try not to get too far into it to save, at least some sense of like, oh, wow, that's cool. But that is generally what is going to start off this event. There are going to be world bosses eventually showing up here. To me, that's kind of the big thing, is around Ice Crown, you're going to see classic Wrath era bosses showing up.
Yeah. Patchwork,
Not the Plaguebringer, a bunch of those folks. Falric Marwyn from Ice Crown Dungeon. Like, there's going to be a bunch of them. And they're going to be dropping eye level 100 gear. So this is, again, one of those things where you got some alts, you need to level them up, give them some gear. Perfect way to do it. Just fly around Ice Crown and knock them down.
And it's also a good way to, because you're gonna be able to buy gear out of this event also that it's the PvP equivalent. It looks like the base PvP gear. So if you haven't collected something, or if you've got alts that need gear, like, for example, I've got Hunter, and I'm not able to go do the Arathi, the Battle for Arathi Highlands. I can't do that for some reason. It won't let me queue up for that. I don't have the high enough, because I don't have a high enough item level. It still says it wants an item level 300, and I only have a 141 item level, so I don't know how that matches up, where I just can't go and do that anymore. I don't know what's there. But so I'm going to go do the mail. I'm going to try to get all the Hunter gear out of this event. So, yeah. So you have some alts. Get all that stuff,
Yeah, there's a currency that we're all going to be collecting during this time, which is specific to this event, that you'll be able to use to buy all the...
Argent Commendations.
Argent Commendations. There you go. Yep. And we always see like the Argent Dawn or somebody show up.
Yeah.
When this is going on, and then they're like, "Hey, we're back after 6 years of slumber, and we're still kicking Scourge ass." So, yeah, you'll have lots of opportunities for that over the couple of weeks. There's going to be daily quests, things like that will give you additional opportunities to earn those tokens, or that currency essentially. The really interesting thing, possibly the most interesting thing to me, curious to see how this plays out, is that the highlighted world boss of this event, sort of the culmination, I think, story-wise of all of this, is that Nathanos is a world boss.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is this another, we get him down to 5% and he bails out? Or is this there's actually going to be something that happens to Nathanos? I genuinely, truly, I do not know. I don't know how this plays out. I haven't tried it. I haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on. I am going to guess that he probably gets away, but I don't know that for a fact. And we're going to talk about here in a second about the story cinematic, that the story trailer essentially that accompanied the announcement of the expansion coming out on the 23rd and the pre-launch event happening on the 10th. But I don't know. Like, at what point does Nathanos' agency just kind of stop? Like, I don't really know, other than essentially being a henchman at this point, or the last vestige of, for lack of a better term, Sylvanas' humanity, like real feelings. And it even sounds like he might be being asked to sacrifice himself. Like, I feel like his time should be coming to an end. I don't know. So that's coming on the 10th. So right after this episode should drop, we should be going live with the pre-launch event, Death Rising. And then we're pretty much in it at that point.
Yep.
That'll be kind of the snowball going down the hill, catching up speed, and then right into Monday, the 23rd, or Tuesday the 24th, depending on where you are. And off we go. So speaking of that story trailer, we did get, it's about a minute-long story trailer that came with the article about the release dates. And in it, we see several snippets, it looks like, of future cinematics that we're going to see play out as we level or do different content. Maybe it's something else that they'll release separately as its own little piece out there on YouTube. It's just called Shadowlands Story Trailer. If you haven't seen it, want to take a look for it. But now, taking a look at this and seeing some of the scenes playing out, having Sylvanas' voiceover, saying some of the things that she's saying, what did you get out of this? Any new insights? Any new revelations? Anything that perked your ears going, ooh, what the fuck is that?
Honestly, no, because I got to play the beta, so I know a lot of the characters that are happening there. But I mean, the Maw, I guess, looked kind of cool from the video because I'm like, some of the guys had fire on their weapons and some weird looking stuff that they didn't have there originally when we were fighting them at the beta.
Truly a warrior's perspective.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm like, there was some fire on a weapon that wasn't there before. So no, they pieced together the video that we saw was kind of just pieced together from the leaked cinematic that they gave. Well, I don't want to say leaked. Warcraft put it out, and then
data mined, we'll say.
It was data mined, right? So I don't know. It just, to me, it feels it's a little pieced together. It's not as, look, I'm just gonna say it doesn't feel, and it doesn't feel like a normal release. It doesn't feel like that normal polished release schedule that Blizzard normally does with these things, and I don't blame them. 2020 is 2020. It is what it is.
To be fair, it isn't.
What's that?
I mean, it isn't polished. It can't be.
It's not. It really isn't. And no fault of their own. It really is. I don't blame anybody. I just, it's just the time we're in at this point. We'll look back and remember it, and the next expansion will go a lot smoother. So just, be patient with it. But I still, I'm just the gray looming that's coming over everything. And then, once everybody transitions into the Shadowlands and gets to see all of these zones, it is quite something. I saved the last 3 zones. I only went in to do the first zone. And I didn't bother doing the last of it because I wanted something. I wanted to still be a little. I still want I want to go into a zone and be like, wow. I don't want to. I didn't want to have the whole experience ruined for me, even though I am a spoiler person. But yeah, I didn't. I still, if I was just coming into the game, I'd be like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I mean, I really don't. I have no idea what's going on. So it was. Yeah, it was like the intro to I don't know. It was like the intro to a WWE event. It's like, here's all your major players.
Just lots of fast cuts.
Yeah, lots of fast cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it definitely was not a. I don't think I'm telling tales out of Sunday school here, but I think both you and I are still holding out for the full, glorious, fully rendered cinematic, right? Like we're still looking for that show, that arc, that mini series that we're gonna get running through Shadowlands, and perhaps there's a bit of disappointment as we have yet to see one of those, but there's still plenty of time for something like that to materialize. And given that we saw that image, I think it was from PC Gamer that we talked about, there's got to be one out there somewhere. There's got to be something coming.
I wouldn't be surprised if the next one came out and it was just a bunch of stick drawings and kazoo music. Like, just.
I think they'll do us better than that.
No, I know. I'm just playing.
You and I put it together.
I was playing, but I'm just like,
These days, you never know what you're going to get. That is for sure. But to an extent, I can see your point where that it's not really telling like a story. It is very much a trailer in the very truest sense of the word, that it's just, especially modern times, it's just a bunch of quick hits of scenes, and it doesn't really say, you are going to the Shadowlands to go do this thing, and there's a lot of inference being made.
It's a commercial. It's like a Super Bowl halftime commercial. Boom, 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 boom. Then you slam the World of Warcraft icon down on the logo right down on top of it with an anvil sound, and boom.
Yeah.
Available now. It's like.
So it's one of those opportunities where, you look at it, you can kind of glean some things. Okay, we know what's going to happen to certain individuals, or, looks like the Thanos is wrapped up in something. Maybe that's part of the world event we're about to have. I see Tyrande doing some business. I see some shots from, like you said, the trailer that we got already, where the world leaders are getting, or the faction leaders are getting yoinked back to the Shadowlands. I saw a quick hit of Anduin saying something about how the light is still with him, even where he is. We think he's in the mall. One of the things that I thought was most interesting about this is, as we've gone through this story, until now, last couple years with Warcraft, is what is Sylvanas' motivation? That is like that chief question that's been out there. Like, what really is it that she's trying to do? All this veiled stuff about breaking the cycle and controlling our destiny and doing all of these things. Like, depending on how complicated or simple we want to make the explanation, it can be taken in a variety of ways. But one of the things that I thought was interesting coming out of listening into and watching this trailer, it seemed as if she had, whether it ends up being real or not, a sort of reverence for the jailer, as if the jailer is the one through which all things are possible. It's almost like that godlike mythical figure that somebody's looking to, saying, through this vessel, I will be able to accomplish this thing, and so I have a certain amount of reverence for it. And you don't really hear Sylvanas talk that way about anything. So,
right.
Who is the audience for that? I'm pretty sure that's cut from something else that we're eventually going to see later. So who is it that she's saying this to? Is this Nathanos that she's talking to? Is it somebody else? Is she trying to convince herself of this thing? Is she trying to convince somebody else? Is she, the context here is somewhat important, but we've never heard her talk that way about something before. And it really, again, places that focus on the jailer, who we see fairly prominently in the story trailer. But one thing about him that I also noticed, and I don't, again, not knowing anything about the story because I haven't played ahead, if you freeze it when you look at the jailer, there's a scene, there's part of the little scene where he's walking forward. In the middle of his chest, there's just this big black hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell if that's something that's by design, and that's just part of his design. He just has this big black hole like in his chest. Whether something is supposed to be there that they're trying to recover, or he needs, or something like that. Or whether they've done the true modern trailer gimmick, which is that there's something there and they're covering it up for the sake of the trailer. Because going back to, I think the most classic example I can think of is like Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, where they had all of these shots of the trailer that were never in the movie, and people were like, wait a minute, what happened to all that stuff? So just kind of looking at this, I think about the 16-second mark of this 1 minute video. If you look at it, you can see like pretty straight on, there's just like this big black hole in his chest. And so it leaves me wondering like what's going on? Clearly he has a style, gems, and runes that are just like what we had on Frostmourne and we had on the Helm of Domination. That those connections, we know that they are there, but even just visually now, you can really see that connection. So again, it increases my interest for what in the hell this ultimate plan is, and I really hope it pays off. I really do. Like you got me juiced up for it. Like, what is are you just trying to just break it all down and there is no life or death and everyone's immortal and you just float off into whatever universe you want and that's all that it is? Like, what is the gig here? Like, that's what we're looking for. But it would be nice to get like an old school 2 minute, here's the story. Here's where we've been. Here's where we are. Here's where we're going. Here's why that's important. It's a lot of inference right now. So we'll see. Nice to see some interesting shots from upcoming content. It does make me wonder who the hell those people are and what they're doing, but it won't be too much longer until we find out. Along the lines of the stories, we did have an interview recently. Well, we didn't, but there was an interview recently with, although I'd love to talk to him, Steve Danuser, once again, out there giving interviews, this time to Screen Rant. And in it, very focused on story, very focused on, specifically, they talk about Arthas, Arthas's impact, front and center, right, in that first cinematic that we got with Uther, how that ties into things, maybe where we're going, the broader Warcraft universe, lots of topics being touched on. Giving a read through that, things that jumped out at you, Nav. What were some highlights maybe that you saw or things that left you going, that's some interesting stuff?
I was really happy with how he approached the whole Arthas storyline, because it was initially when Shadowlands was announced, we're all like, oh, cool, what if, but they're taking it from the standpoint of, we're not just going to take Arthas and put him into a storyline haphazardly. When you have somebody of he's legendary status in the Warcraft community, basically. It started with Warcraft 3, ended at the end of Wrath of the Lich King. The majority of the storyline for Warcraft and what we're dealing with now revolved around Arthas. And I like the fact that they're taking a lot of care with the storyline and the character there. So initially we all got excited about, we're going to have this person and this person and this person. They're going to be like, they may show up, they may not show up, but I think what we're going to see here is a transition of old story to new story, and we're going to be more introduced to newer characters and not have the old characters just be the driving force behind everything World of Warcraft. So I think this is the way of, and not to say he's not going to show up, because he was already they introduced him, it's in the short, and I'm sure at some point there will be some storyline, a reckoning. And I don't want to ruin it if you haven't read the article, but they said towards the end of one of the stories, or the major story of the first, I think it's towards the, did they say it was towards the end of the first patch that we may have more story to Arthas there at that point, or we'll understand a lot more of what happened and the lives that he touched and things like that. So
there's a conversation essentially amongst characters about the impact, and sort of taking in what you just said there. Do you think that perhaps Shadowlands could be a bit more meta in reference to burying the old stories and putting to rest a bunch of these threads and starting something afresh? Do you think it could be even that big and kind of a tongue-in-cheek way?
I think it can be. I think it could be a reset I think it absolutely can be a reset. And
Interesting.
yeah, I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking because you've got, well, it's one of the realms. It's one of the 9. I don't have the Chronicle now. I don't have any of the Chronicles. But if you look at the maps there, it's one of the. They have all these moons and the circles and everything that encompasses.
It's a cosmology chart, essentially.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. And this is just one of them. So
yeah, this is one of the realms, the realm of death, essentially.
Yep.
And yeah, one of the really cool things that Dan User talked about, and this is, I'm gonna say this gently. This is sort of a soft retcon, perhaps. Where the way that they talk about the Chronicles is that the Chronicles are written as a version of history from the perspective of the Titans and their progeny. So this gives them some wiggle room to say, well, that's not the whole truth. That's just the truth from one perspective. That is going to come into play, I have a feeling, sooner rather than later. There's been several references to how this expansion is going to open up new possibilities, new places, blowing up that cosmology chart, essentially, and trying to open those gateways to those places. And so I think what you're saying is very apropos in the sense that this could be a swan song, perhaps, for a lot of those Warcraft 3 threads. And they did mention how a lot of the things that we do, the stories that we play through, the content that we see, has a genesis in Warcraft 3. And we have been bound to it for a long time. And there's plenty of people that have complained about it, that we have to move past the sort of Metzen era, let's say, where, it was kind of the OG boys that came up with this stuff, the original Warcraft, carried that stuff in through the first, handful of Warcraft expansions. But now you see with the creation of characters like Anduin, where we're bringing those characters up, like Garrosh, we're bringing those characters up. Those types of stories that really started within Warcraft and are living and breathing a life of their own from there. And that's a really good point, Nav. That's a really good thought.
This is our search for Spock, and then we're going to find a spaceship. And then it's going to be the voyage home.
Oh, my God.
Remember?
Was Velen? Is Velen going to show up?
That's right. Velen's going to show up. He's going to make us go look for some humpback whales. Is
one of them named Varian? It's so much potential. And again, that's why I'm so excited for this, because when they talk about stuff like that and they talk about future content, and that always gets me jazzed, right? Because you always want to make sure that they're forward looking. And you can tell very clearly from the several interviews that Steve Dan User has given is that they are plotting a course several steps ahead. And not only that, but they're preparing for, again, more regular and more robust content as we go down. And that's, you like to hear it. Whether you see it, what happens in practice, sometimes it's out of their hands, COVID. We'll see. But it feels good. In speaking about these other possibilities, these other places, these other doorways, whatever you want to call them, he brought up something very intentionally. He mentions the first ones, which is this, we'll say, mythical group of beings that get talked about in the Shadowlands. This is not something that we have been introduced to prior to Shadowlands. But now we're looking at even perhaps bigger and more ancient beings than the Titans. And what we've learned as time has gone on is again, as we blow out that cosmology chart, is all of this time we looked at the Titans as like the Titans were they were the big universal overlords, right? Like they came in, they fought old gods, they made planets or arranged planets. Like those were the pantheon. That was the biggest deal. Well, now we're finding out there's not just one pantheon. There's multiple pantheons from multiple parts of this universe that we exist in. Well, going even further from there, well, what's higher than, who made them? Where'd they come from? You know, it's kind of like the, you know,
Yeah.
to really go like galaxy brain or whatever that meme is, right? When you think about, when you blow that out bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, it's the real deep philosophical questions that we as real human beings deal with, right? Like the nature of the universe and, you know, stuff like that. That's the territory that Shadowlands touches on, and that's why I've been so excited about it. And then all the times that we've talked, because that's what Warcraft is now really touching on. And that is tricky. It's tricky. Really tricky. If they handle it right, it could be great. If they bobble it, it could get a little wonky, and then, you know, we'll have timey-wimey Garrosh escapes to try to figure some stuff out. But mentioning the first ones, in my mind, a very purposeful thing for Steve Van User to do. Do you have any understanding from your brief play of who these beings or what these beings might be or where they come from or what their purpose is?
I have no idea. I just can. The minute I heard it, I'm like, you know, this sounds a lot. I'm going to relate it to Halo because I played Halo a lot. Loved Halo. Loved everything about it. Loved the lore of Halo, all that stuff. And in that game, you would go through and you were fighting the Covenant forces, and then you try to find some Forerunner artifacts, and then eventually down the road you meet the Forerunners, and it's like it's almost like that. You're meeting the first ones. It's like, oh, okay. So I have no idea. I got nothing. I honestly don't know. It's just we keep meeting these higher up beings, and you know, I'm trying to think back. There were some stories on Blizzard Watch that was done about there's I forget what the Guardian. No, it's a Guardian. Shoot, I forget. It's just sleeping. There's a Guardian that's sleeping in name escapes me. Where you're gonna, you know, in the Kyrian zone, the Arbiter. God, the Arbiter is just sleeping when you're there. It's sleeping. The last being to know the Arbiter was Ysera,
the Green Dragon who died.
Yes, the Green Dragon who died. So now I'm thinking, okay, so is that storyline going to get wrapped up into it, and does that mean that we're going to be reintroduced to that character, and then that character will shepherd us into the storyline of the first ones or something like that? You know, it's like, that's what I don't know. We'll see.
And that's, you know, that's kind of where we are. And I don't usually do this, but I'm really geeked up by this part of this interview. So I am going to read a couple quotes here just to kind of give you folks an idea of what was said. Is many of the concepts introduced in the Afterlife series and in the stories revealed in this expansion will tee up some very intriguing possibilities that will be explored in future content. For example, from the dark reaches of the Maw to the ancient halls of Oribos, you'll hear mention of powerful beings referred to as the First Ones. As the story of Shadowlands unfolds, we'll meet allies helping to explore the mysteries of their existence, as well as adversaries determined to plunder their secrets. Yet what we learn will merely scratch the surface of what lies ahead of us. So again, it's like imagine if somebody showed us a poster of like the Frostmourne hilt, you know, years and years and years ago, and said, yeah, there's a guy that has this thing. You know, it's
right. Yeah,
it's that nugget. You're like, ooh, this is some real cool shit, and it's pretty exciting. So
yeah,
you know, I know we've been champions quite a while, and we've brought down some pretty big bads. But now, if we're talking about above Titan level stuff, I mean, that's woof.
Yeah,
that's big. That's big. So
maybe they'll take the sword out of. I'm not gonna let that sword go till it's gone. Like, that sword doesn't belong down there. It needs to go.
It's getting its own zip code. It's permanent, brother. I think that ship is sailed. So yeah, so screenrant.com if you want to go out there and check it out. The whole interview with Steve Dan User. It's really good. and great insights from the man himself. I mean, at this point in my mind, he's kind of supplanted Chris Metzen when it comes to the person who you're going to get a lot of your story information from.
Yeah.
I think Afraziabi, who is still there as far as I know, is still, way head honcho when it comes to creative. But Daniels is the one that's out there, I think, the most beating the pavement and getting the word out. So every time that name shows up and there's an interview attached to it, I highly encourage everyone to check it out. Also for us going on right now, we are celebrating the 16th anniversary of World of Warcraft, which you mentioned coincides with the date of the expansion launch, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we have events that have already started. You log in game, you're getting little bundles of celebratory joy, including some fireworks. I know everybody loves those fireworks. Some time walking tokens. Those badges, done, whatever the hell those things are.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many of them that I've stopped even paying attention, to be quite frank. But the big thing to me, 16% XP and rep buff through the term.
Yep.
To help get that leveling done.
Yep.
So, really appreciate them throwing that to us, since they killed off all of the other rep and XP bonuses that were happening prior to the pre-patch. Those are great, but that time is over. But those really stick out to me as some of the things that I'm enjoying so far taking a part of. But for you, Nav, anniversary time, anything in particular that you enjoy at this event or is particularly meaningful to you?
I like going to get, there's a make sure that you go get the transmog cloak, because it's down it's offered by you can buy it from the badges that you get, and it's a great looking cloak. It's down there in the Caverns of Time. I forget what the NPC is that sells it. But that's something you don't want to miss out on. I always look for those types of things. Mm-hmm. It just, it's just a time of remembering and thinking about all the it was fun because I logged in the game, and there's some friends that I haven't played with in a long time. We logged in and we just did some stuff, and we were down in the Caverns of Time together, and then we're just like, hey, let's go run Dragon Soul or something, because we were just down there anyway.
Yeah.
But it's, it's fun. You get to run around the world and kill some old bosses, get some some fun transmog stuff off the old bosses, reminisce, it's just a time of reminiscing. It's not, none of the encounters are hard. It's just hey, I was here when this was current. It's just neat. It's one of those things in game that you get to look back on and enjoy, think about good old days, it's like, so
way back when in my day.
Back when.
Yeah, and to correct myself here, you are getting time warped badges.
That's it. Time warp badges.
That's what they're called.
Yes.
So for anybody yelling at the podcast right now, I got it. I got it. I that. The other thing to keep in mind is there are some world bosses that are active. Anybody that's over level 30, if you have over level 30 on your character, you can fight Lord Kazak, Azargos, and one of the 4 Dragons of Nightmare from this is stuff that goes way back in the day. And they drop some loot. They also drop 50 time warp badges, so you can get those from there. The old school, slightly similar-ish version of Alterac Valley is up. So if you want to see what it kind of used to be like, it's not quite. I didn't play the original version. I've heard what it was like. It sounds like it's a modified version that doesn't take all week.
It doesn't take all week. It takes a while. It's Korak's Revenge, and you can go in there and you can get a ram mount if you haven't done it yet. It's worth it to do the mount. And
there you go.
It's worth it to just see what old AV is like. As far as the old dragons, I don't know what it's like with the tagging now, but in the past, those were faction. I mean, when the old tagging system was in place, you'd have 2 factions lining up just trying to tag that thing when it would come out. And if you were on a PvP server, it made for quite an event. It was fun. So
yeah, when I came in BC, nobody was really running that content. And so you'd see, especially like the dragons of Nightmare, you'd see these giant dragons in these portals, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's on the back end of that, it's been really fun leveling my new druid through Legion and getting access to the Dreamway and seeing those portals actually being put to use for the first time ever. So that was,
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever, but the first time I've ever used them that I can recall. So that was pretty good. I did enjoy that. So, yep. So if you want to head down to the Caverns of Time, there's a portal in your portal room to take you down there, and then you can jump on a dragon and fly all the way to the bottom if you want to, or you can fly yourself down there. There are crystals set up so you can see kind of the major end of expansion cinematics and the regular intro to this expansion cinematics. They have a bunch of them kind of lined up there near the entrance to the big sort of round area where all the goings on are. There's I think a Khadgar head in a ball that you can kick around, and if you kick it over a net, it's just like congratulations or some shit goes off. So Leroy Jenkins is down there selling us chicken, and that's not a euphemism. He's actually down there selling chicken. So if you've ever wanted to see the world famous Leroy Jenkins, he's also down there. When I took my trip down there, it really was interesting to see the Caverns of Time and kind of fly around in there, because it's been so long since I've been there, and there is so much really great old content down there that it does not get any love anymore.
No, it doesn't.
The transmog alone out of places like Mount Hyjal, it's worth the run. It takes a while, and sometimes it can be kind of buggy because you're so overpowered now. But there's some really great classic gear down there. But you got to get down there, and you got to kind of suffer through it to an extent.
No, it's time. It's not like I defeated something. You were literally waiting for the game's the clock of the instance to play through. Yeah.
Yeah, all the waves coming at you.
Yeah.
Like in Mount Hyjal, like you just got to wait.
Yeah.
So it's great. And honestly, if you make your way down there, I encourage you folks, check it out. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of great transmog down there, but it's also some of the major story beats as well for Warcraft. So if you're relatively new to the game, perhaps, and you haven't played through any of the stuff down there, check it out, and it'll help kind of fill in some gaps. If you play, I think it's Escape from Durnhold.
Oh yeah, with Thrall?
With Thrall.
Yeah.
If I think that's the one where if you walk around, you can see Kel'Thuzad when he was still a human. It's like out there on the main road by South Shore, something like that. It's one of the ones down there.
Oh.
But my point is that there's a lot of cool story stuff out there, little stuff that you can see, but you got to make your way down there, and you got to go in there.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been current content, and God knows. I mean, what's the last raid we had in there? Dragon's Hall? Did we have anything after that?
Yes. It was Dragon Soul. That was it. We killed Deathwing.
So we're a ways from having had current content in there. But check it out. It's a lot of fun, and happy anniversary to the game. Honestly, 16 years for a video game like this to keep going, still going.
Exactly.
Pretty strong, I think.
Yeah.
Or else, I mean, we'd be here anyway, even if it wasn't.
Yeah.
But we still think it is, so that's good. One last piece of story before we get to our actual last thing that we're going to talk about. There is, as we've talked about, a new book. There's actually several new books coming for Warcraft or that are Warcraft related. But one of them in particular, one that I'm really excited about, is a book called World of Warcraft Exploring Azeroth, the Eastern Kingdoms. This is a book that is kind of part adventure, part journal, part kind of information, gap filling about the world that we play in. And one of the things that we were told about this book is that essentially it was going to be told from this perspective of Matthias Shaw and Flynn Fairwind going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's how it was pitched to us.
Mm-hmm.
And totally on board with that, no problem. I don't need any other information than that. I already bought it. Like, I'm ready for it to show up here in a couple weeks. But lo and behold, out of the blue, we got us a brand new Christy Golden sort of prologue story about how this adventure came together. And so you have Shaw and Flynn going on an adventure together. And as we've talked about when we had Madeline Rue on here, talk about Shadows Rising, there is a relationship now that exists between those two characters. And you see the further development of that relationship in this story, along with some pretty awesome, really deep lore cuts in this story that they tell about this little adventure that happens down in Duskwood, a place that, frankly, as I've talked about, I could care less about. I don't need to be down there. I don't like that zone. It's super scary. I could be out leveling that thing by 100 fucking levels. I do not want to go down there. It terrifies me. I don't like it. But this story was great. It was really fun. You can hear these characters coming right through. It's very funny. It's very believable. But it tells an interesting story that weaves into Shadowlands and this book that's coming out about death, things that are feeling a shift in death this time is going on, kind of the effects that's having on the world. And these two get caught up into something. And I really enjoyed it. It's not a terribly long read, but it's a great prologue and gives an explanation for why this adventure that they go on in exploring Azeroth occurs. So, for folks that haven't checked it out yet, highly recommend you check it out. It's called Terror by Torchlight. It's a little scary. It's not super scary. It might be a little scary. It's kind of gross. It's really, it's probably gross.
It's probably more gross, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, to be fair, I didn't get to finish the whole story, but I did. I mean, the way they described Duskwood in this, I was like, oh, they did a really good job of describing it, because it is, if you've never been out there or you don't play Horde, it's not a fun place to be, I guess.
Very specific descriptions of like decomposition.
Yeah.
And like stuff that might happen if you attack something that's, reanimated death. It's gnarly. But great. It's a great little insight into those characters, a continuation of their story that we picked up on in Shadows Rising. So again, it's ancillary stuff that doesn't directly impact the story. No. But again, for me, it helps flesh out that broader world that we're in, and it helps bring more life to these characters and to these events and to these places that we know and know very well, and introduces something new. There's some information about Duskwood itself that I had never known, but it's canon, or at least it's now canon, that was kind of from another source. So really, really interesting stuff. So Terror by Torchlight, go out there, check it out. Really good read, and help fill in a little more story gap for you as we head into Shadowlands and a new book. The last thing that I wanted to talk about this week real briefly is we did have the third quarter earnings call for Activision Blizzard. So this is Q3 of 2020. And as we have discussed time and again, like it or not, Blizzard as a company, Activision Blizzard, continues to be on the rise. The report or the information coming out of this quarter 3 earnings report, according to Yahoo Finance, blows out expectations. If you want to know how well they're doing, that was the quote right there. Blows out expectations. Their revenues for the third quarter were $1.95 billion, which was up 38% from the $1.28 billion we discussed a year ago. So,
wow.
Nav, you and I talked last episode. What have they put out in the last, let's say, 4 months?
Call of Duty. I mean, honestly, I think what we're looking at here is Call of Duty.
For the most part, that's true.
And because there's really, nothing. Blizzard hasn't. Blizzard, as we know it, hasn't. Besides Shadowlands, let's talk about Shadowlands. there was a sale there for that game, but yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot. I mean, I'm not, it's not
from the Blizzard side,
right?
Not like we usually see, but you're right. Call of Duty was really the predominant driver in terms of revenue. So they're up. One comment that was made by Overlord Bobby Kotick, which has got to sting in wake of the layoffs, is that right now Activision Blizzard has about 10,000 employees. And according to Bobby Kotick, they need to hire more than 2,000 people to meet their current production demands.
Wow.
So on one hand, that really sucks that you just laid off. Well, not just, it's been a while, but that you recently in relative history laid off a whole ton of people, and now you're short and need more than 2,000. That's if I was one of the folks who got let go, I'd be pretty pissed about hearing about that. But in terms of outlook, it is good that they are growing to that degree, and that they still have that much product. Candy Crush still is like the number one microtransaction app in the country, which just blows me away because that fucking thing is so old. But even I started playing it again recently.
Oh, jeez. I've not played that game ever.
I'm up to like 400 levels now. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's awful. But I mean, that's it, right? It's these little addictive games, and they're blowing up. As far as our neck of the woods, World of Warcraft, our player base apparently remains stable. They don't release the subscriber numbers anymore after people made such a big deal out of them years ago. We know that in the Wrath era, I think we were up near 10, 12 million, and then it petered out to about half of that around the Warlords era, which is when they stopped giving us these numbers. So we don't actually know what the subscriber base is anymore. They give you the monthly active users, but it's always lumped into what everybody else is doing. So we don't really have a good idea of what that is. But they did say the Shadowlands pre-sales were well ahead of any prior expansion, and they said that franchise engagement, which just means people are still playing it right now at the highest level at this point in an expansion, which means at the end of its life cycle, essentially, of anyone in a decade. So that is Wrath era numbers. I don't know that we're at 12 million. I don't feel like we're at 12 million. But if we're at 8 to 10, 8-ish, I'd take that. That'd be all right. They also said that they have the largest team ever working on Shadowlands. Again, continuing to grow, continuing to build that team.
Right.
Got to appreciate that. And for a hardcore number, current stock price, as we sit here on Sunday, is about $79 a share. So we've seen it tip up over 80, close to 90. I think it was like up at 86 at one point. Been a little bit of a, back and forth here for a bit. But overall, the company still seems to be doing well. We know that Blizzard has a lot of things on the horizon. Shadowlands. They did talk a little bit about Diablo 4 being on schedule for whatever that schedule is. There's other things in the works that we don't know about. They keep teasing all of this stuff that's on the horizon that we don't know about, which it gives me hope. But I hope they have something at BlizzCon Line. February would be a great time to unleash something and say, yes, you know us. This is 5 years from actually getting into your hands, but hey, we're working on it. This will be great. So good news for us as players. To see that the company is doing well, to see that they're growing their teams. Hopefully that means that, Blizzard can continue to do what they need to do, like they did here with Shadowlands, which is to put quality over everything else and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll continue to keep tabs on them as we do. But as of right now, revenues are up. They're hiring. It's a good sign. Good sign. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode. Other than this fine program, where can the good people find you on the internet, Navox?
You can find me out on Twitter and Twitch. I am at NAV_OX.
As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at Berzerker Rage, and this show at Unshackled_Fury. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise by going to unshackledfury.com, and you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and Pandora. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high. And we'll see you next time. Farewell.